3, 2, 1.
Welcome to HVAC Success Secrets Revealed, a show where we interview industry leaders and disruptors, revealing the success secrets to create and unleash the ultimate HVAC business. Now your hosts, Thaddeus and Evan.
Hey, welcome back to another HVAC Success Secrets Revealed with Thaddeus and Evan. Although I'm without Thaddeus right now, having a blast here at True Grit in Memphis, Tennessee, at Graceland. Elvis has stopped playing finally in this area. He plays nonstop here at the resort, so it's a blast. But I am very blessed to be with Nathan Mandsager with Child Voice, and excited to hear all about that. And Amanda Triolo, who brought him here and introduced him to this circle. Of course, Amanda is with CxC, which is super exciting and launched yesterday.
Today. You can sign up live right now.
Right now. Go do it. We had her on the show back in September in Austin, where we actually talked all about it and how cool it is. We had Brianna on yesterday and talked about it again. So definitely go check that out. And then, of course, she's with Grasshopper Heating and Cooling up in New York and crushing it with her team there.
My peeps.
You brought some of your top salespeople out again.
I did.
My favorite things at any of the events that you show up to is the team that you bring and the energy that they bring with it, especially when you hit the stage. They are the loudest people in the audience.
Have you been to one of our Tuesday mornings yet?
I have not.
Oh, man.
I have
You
not
have
had
to.
the pleasure.
Yeah.
Tuesdays with Grasshopper.
Yeah. That's
I'm pretty
pretty
sure
epic.
they were throwing Slim Jims at the one Nathan came to.
Yes, they
Nice.
were. Yeah.
Things get wild.
I
Yeah.
love it.
The big Slim Jims. Knock someone out if they're not careful.
We
Yeah.
did coordinate an attack while Amanda was on the show in her office.
Okay.
Yeah, with Dylan and Cara, I believe. Who
Yep.
Good.
Actually orchestrated everything, but they
Good.
went and attacked her and shot her with a miracle bullets while she was in the middle of the podcast.
I was
Perfect.
mortified because I thought all these people were just like having fun and didn't realize I was on a podcast until I found out it was all staged
It was
and
planned.
planned.
That's nice.
And I really got ambushed. I was like sheltering in place.
All right.
She had no
That was
choice.
probably the most epic podcast yet.
Yeah, it was
was
a covert attack. It was
Good.
great.
That was
Good,
good.
good. Cool.
Awesome. Child Voice, what is it? So that everyone can understand
Yep.
that aspect of it, and then what you're doing here at the event.
Yeah, so Child Voice, we've been around for 18 years now, and our mission is to restore the voices of children silenced by war. There's millions of kids today that are impacted by war and conflict happening where we're at right now in parts of Africa, but obviously, as we can all see on the news, all over the world. And our goal is to work with kids that have been impacted, whether it's young kids all the way through young adolescents. We do focus a lot on young girls because they are the most vulnerable in these kinds of situations. And so helping them with all of the trauma-related stuff they may have been through, but also giving them the skills and the tools that they need to be successful long-term in their own villages and their own communities, so that the goal is that they not only change their lives, but change the future generations that come behind them too. So,
I love it.
yeah.
Amanda, how did you stumble across it?
I've known Nathan for a long time, since early middle school days, actually. And Nathan stepped into the CEO role within the last year?
Yeah, almost a year ago now.
Almost a year ago now.
Yep.
And, Nathan has always had a heart for this exact organization is who Nathan is. And so I was very excited when I found out that he was stepping into that. But most importantly, we got to connect about a month ago, and he told me where Child Voice was at the moment. And when he was talking, it was just kind of like light bulbs were going off on understanding that Child Voice is really empowering trades and teaching those vocational tracks in Africa and what that looks like. And it's like, well, wait a minute, like I'm in the trades in the United States, and the trades in the United States and the trades in Africa, they may look a little bit different, but there's no reason why the United States and all of us together as a community can't rally and work together and connect and support and be partners in this. And so I think that Child Voice is in its infancy stage on what it's going to do with the trades right now.
Yep.
And I know that this is the first introduction to the trades, but I'm committed to pioneering this on the trades front with the community in the United States. And Nathan is, he's got an awesome rock star team. And there's, how many of your team is in Africa right now?
We just have about 7 of us here in the U.S., and then we have 65 staff in Uganda, and then another 25 or so in Nigeria right now. So,
Okay.
and they're all nationals. That's one of our foundational goals, is that, you know, we can help get things started, but at the end of the day, it's the people that live there that are going to make the biggest impact. So, you know, a lot of our staff have been former graduates of our programs that have now come on over the years. And then, you know, our country director in Uganda, he's been with us since day one back in 2006. And, you know, he lost his dad during conflict as well. So, you know, I'm middle-aged white guy here in the U.S. So my goal is to connect the right people and the right resources to allow them to do the work of bringing hope and healing to kids impacted by war.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
One, an unbelievable shitty situation that the kids are in.
Yeah.
They can't control it. They didn't decide to be there. And it's creating opportunities that's going to impact their lives ever moving forward.
Absolutely.
I'm a big believer in that, you know, when we have something that's outside of ourselves that we can contribute, we can give back to, that contribution is a main driver for really high achievers. Because at the end of the day, there's only so much money that can really drive you before it loses all impact.
Yeah.
So having something that's bigger than yourself, having something that you can really give back to is incredibly important. And something that I've noticed is not as prevalent in a lot of home service businesses. They don't have that go-to charity that they have in their office that they continually give back to.
Yep.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that's just not something that's been a focus and been talked about enough?
You know, I've been giving that a lot of thought actually since talking to Nathan. And, you know, at Grasshopper, we support local organizations. And of course, we want to partner with our communities. But for some people, I think that their companies really are lacking like purpose, or they're lacking being a mission-driven organization.
Right.
And with Child Voice, it's very clear that you're making a global impact. And even with your team, you know, I'm excited to talk about this at Tuesdays with Grasshopper, because if my team can understand, like, hey, what we do here in the United States and the program that we've created that brings you on and trains you in a career in the trades is exactly what they're doing in Africa, except they're restoring children and restoring children, right? If they understand that their company is making that global impact, that's a totally different game changer, to where they'll become inspired and empowered to want to tell other people. And even just in talking here in the last few days, some ideas came up actually on adding a line item to, you know, $1 for every service that we do, and then having a leave behind for our customers, and then being able to draw that parallel to, hey, we're in the trades, we're a home service company that's servicing you, but there's also an organization that's making a global impact. And the exact thing that we do here, but relevant to Africa and the situations that they're in Africa. And we're supporting those children and helping to provide purpose and helping to give them, you know, a different life and create life change. And, you know, for an organization like us, right, we create opportunities that change lives. That's the first part of our mission statement. That is our commitment. And so life change can come in many different shapes, forms, sizes, ways, and it looks different to everybody. So this is something that we're really excited about, and the more people in the trades that we can inform about this. I mean, our community, we see the trades community rally together time after time, and if we can continue letting the community know what Child Voice is and what they do, you know, I have long-term, like, I'm a visionary, so I like to think long-term, and it's like, imagine if we could create some sort of infrastructure or platform in which where the United States Trades is supporting Child Voice in the trades that they're doing there. And it's bar soap making, agriculture, electrical, solar.
Yeah, we're working on solar. That's
solar
the next
now.
step.
Bar soap making, did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Hairdressing, bakery, and
Tailoring.
Tailoring.
Yeah.
Those are the vocational tracks in the trades right now that Child Voice is equipping and training them in their programs. And so imagine if we can support that even on an HVAC level, right? And helping to bring HVAC there, and us being able to support them. Maybe some people can come to the United States for a career path. Maybe some people in the United States can go there and train and teach that. It's like, I told Seth and Craig yesterday, I said, look, I'm speaking it into existence now, because if you don't speak it, then you know, right? I said, so I'm speaking into existence that the three of us will be in Africa sometime over the next 5 years.
Love it.
And I'm committed to that.
Love it.
And so, you know, I don't know if you know this or not, but I went to school for human services and chemical dependency counseling. I actually wanted to work in the foster care system for my life. That's what I wanted to do. And so life obviously had other plans, and here we are. But the fact that I'm able to now like find purpose and be able to fill those, the heart and the passion that I have in me in these kind of ways is like, it's a full circle humbling place to be right now.
Yeah.
So I am like fired up.
Yeah. And I will say too, like, it was just 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We had coffee in your office, and you've been to our office, right? And
Not yet. He'll be there.
okay, so anyway, so we were sitting there, and she knew about Child Voice, and she knew me obviously for years, but within a half hour, she's on the whiteboard and she's got vision, and here we are. Like we would have never had this audience and future opportunities to present who Child Voice is, what we do, and connect it with businesses here in the U.S. And so, credit to Amanda. She's got vision, as we all know, but she's also got the passion, and I think the perspective to know where the opportunities are, the connections, the gaps that maybe we can come in and fill. And I think too, we never want companies or individuals to say, well, I'm already giving to some local organization, or we're doing some initiative locally, so I'll have to give that up to come and help you. No, we want you to do both, right? And we want you to, and that allows you to have a much bigger global perspective on things. And then at the end of the day, it helps your employees to really grab hold of something that adds purpose. And as we know, that's a differentiator when it comes to finding good talent, retaining good talent. And I think, we're one of other organizations that I'm sure, these businesses are going to partner with, but I think we can offer something, as Amanda said, really unique and cool. So.
And it's $10 for a month?
Yeah, is that what it was? Yeah, I know $10 is the starting point that we said.
100.
No.
100 for a month? No. 1,000 for.
We should
I'm
have.
just kidding. He
we
can pull it
upsell
up
here.
on his phone. But as he pulls up those statistics, it's like
$10 for a day.
it's $10 for a day. Okay, so $10 to train one adolescent or one child in Africa that is teaching them those vocational tracks and trades, and it's like for $10 a day, right? Even if you just give $10 a month and you set up your one-time occurrence, like that is changing lives, right?
And remember too, like your company, some of the cool stuff that you're beginning to offer to your employees, it's not just the training in bar soap making, right? It's all of the trauma counseling, it's the life skills training, it's providing food for the kids, their children that are there sitting on the floor as they're going through their training. So it's all of that, like you're providing counseling opportunities for your staff. So, that $10 is not just learning how to put the bar soap through the cutter. It's also all of the other stuff that comes with it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned even adding on to every single service call. So something that we had when I sold Cutco knives was a roundup campaign,
Okay.
right? So every single order that we did, you could round up to the nearest dollar. And of course, some people did $5, some did 10, some did a few hundred, some did 1,000. But it was all the way back to Children's Wish or Front Row Foundation was another one that we did. But at the end of the year, it's that accumulation that adds up, and then you can write the check for the tens of thousands of dollars that we were able to give away to charity at the end of the year as an organization as a whole.
Yeah.
And
The
then
other fun part, though, is we would have contests, and the people who did raise the most ended up either being able to go on the experience or share what the experience was with the family that they were getting it, right? So you could tie in so many different
That's
things.
what we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Creating some kind of mechanism where her staff, like you just described, to get, a handful of your team over there to spend a few days.
Africa. Can you imagine? I've been to Honduras and Bulgaria, but I've never been to Africa. I've always wanted to go to Africa, and it always scared the
Which
crap out of me.
now
He
will
said-
happen, yeah.
I know, I've known him since he was my youth pastor, actually, growing up. But it would always scare the crap out of me when he's like spending all his time in Africa. He's like taking malaria pills, I think, and like sleeping with a net around him, if I recall.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I'm excited. Like, your life changes when you go on a missions trip, and this brings mission to the trades on a totally different level. And I know Jason's over there, and I know he's got a heart for foster care, and I know he's got a heart for children in the same way of what we're talking about here. And just like imagine the people that we could rally to really change lives and be a part of something much greater than themselves. You know, something that I think resonates with a lot of people is what we're talking about, right? Empower a trade, transform a life. It's really that simple.
Yeah. No, 100%. I love that.
Yeah.
I think J-Dub's going to start adding in some roundups for every sale he makes. There you go. All right. We got a commitment.
There we go. That's what I saw.
We
Yeah.
put it on camera. Now it has to happen.
I know, out of anybody, I know he's got the heart for this.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
This is Jason, like through to even to his family, you know, right through to his family.
Cool.
Heart of gold, that guy. No, it's the ability to make an impact is so huge. And again, to come back to giving outside of yourself and having that higher why, that bigger contribution, there's a science to achievement. It's laid out to be a successful technician, to earn 100 grand, 200 grand, 500 grand. The formula is there.
Yep.
Follow it, you'll hit it. The fulfillment piece is an art form.
Exactly.
Because what it means to you could be different for you,
Yeah.
could be different for me, could be different for Jason,
Yeah.
right? So being able to work and massage and uncover what that can be for your team is so important.
Yep.
And that's why it has to be more than just a transaction, right? Our goal always, whether it's, you know, connecting with people here in the US or in Europe or whatever, is I want them to build a relationship with our organization and then into the relationships with the kids we get to support. So, you know, I think that's where the ideas we've talked about and new ideas that are coming about now is how those, your staff, I'll use your employees as an example. Man, if me and our country director, Richard, for instance, were able to do some kind of short training on resiliency and what that has looked like in Uganda with kids that have been, you know, ravaged by war and all that kind of stuff, it does something in us, right? And makes us more resilient when we can face things in a different way because we can see it in practice in other places around the world and vice versa, right? Like I don't think, there's a lot of differences between what the kids that we work with in the field in Nigeria and Uganda are facing today, but they're still human beings, just like your staff that are going through crap too, right? And how can they learn from each other in a way that can build that relationship, right? And I think for us, like, however we can get to more and more companies in the trades or the clients on the receiving end, at the end of the day, it's about building the relationships. Yeah, we need funding, right? We're a private nonprofit, and that's what we depend on. But at the end of the day, that's a starting point. The real goal is to build those kinds of relationships where, you know, whether it's someone that you've served in a home and done great work for, and they jump on board with us, that's the starting point to a relationship.
That's the goal. And you know, we're in the next month or so here, Amanda and I talked about going into the local trade schools near us as well. And, you know, they've got booths and they've got career fairs and that type of thing. And so, you know, those cards that were left behind on the tables, I don't know if you had the opportunity to see them or not, but those leave behinds in the home every single time. Even if, you know, one of our values at Grasshopper is we believe in the power of strong partnerships. And that also comes down to who we choose to partner with and why. And does that tie back to our mission statement? And so being able to show and bring more awareness to our local community outside of just my team is awesome. And, you know, even, you know, we heard Helmi say this morning, you know, how much this organization, just learning about it from a card this morning, has already changed his life and how excited he is to partner with it. That is what I'm sure Nathan's team is looking for, you know. And just to be transparent, I am not a part of Child Boys. I just believe heavily in what they're doing in their mission, and I'm committed to supporting that any way that I can with our local community.
Right. Massive advocate.
Absolutely. Raving fan.
One of the things that you mentioned, Nathan, is that perspective shift.
Yeah.
Right. And yes, what these kids have gone through is incredibly unfair.
It's hard to put words around it sometimes.
Absolutely. I want to make sure that we also recognize that the shit that we go through here, yes, it puts it in perspective that, well, fuck, that customer that didn't buy, the customer that didn't call me back, the sales slump that I've gone through, difficulties at home, whatever it is, it really gets put into perspective in terms of that. Now, it doesn't diminish the fact that it feels shitty in the moment.
Doesn't take it away.
No.
It's still real.
But I think that shift that can happen from that is appreciation for what you have versus an expectation of what it should be. And allowing yourself to just live in gratitude. I know for me, anytime that we've been around it, it's been very humbling. We went and lived in the Dominican for 2 months, and just in a house that was in the community, and our next door neighbors were in a hut. Being able to I would just drop off food at their house, just a bag of groceries when I went to the grocery store. Didn't say hi, didn't do anything, didn't talk to them, they just dropped it off. Not for any reason other than to just give. I don't know if they threw it out, or if they ate it, or if they made any use of it, but that wasn't the point. To give. We're incredibly blessed to be where we're at and to have something that we can give back to. It's important.
That perspective thing, I mean, I'm in it every day, so sometimes now I can miss it, but I was over in Uganda. We were in a refugee camp that our team works in back in October. And, in my position, I'm hyper focused on our staff and our program structure and that kind of thing. But, we had gone to one of our youth empowerment centers to see the programming and the vocational training that was happening and things like that. And our program manager said he wanted to introduce me to somebody. And so we walked about 100, 200 yards down the path, and this little one-room hut was there. The roof's caving in. There's no door on it at all. And he introduced me to Kasimi, who's a 16-year-old girl. She has 2 small children under the age of 2. She's originally from Congo. And I got to hear her story. Her husband had been killed by rebels, and she had escaped to this refugee settlement. And I needed that moment. And we're working with this girl, with her children, to get her to a safe place where she can now start to really go through the healing process. And our goal in the next few years is we're going to have great success stories about her starting her own business and that kind of thing. But I needed to be brought back to, like, this is why we exist. Because as an organizational leader, you can kind of get the big vision and all that kind of stuff and get pulled away from. I needed to stand and literally sit on the side of her hut with her and kind of connect with her and her kids. Language barrier, culture barriers, different color skin, all of that. But at the end of the day, I needed to feel the pain that she was going through, because that fuels me to come back and have great conversations with Amanda, and then she catches fire, and then, and it kind of goes from there. So it gives you perspective. And I will say it can be difficult at times. And one of the scariest things about traveling to Africa is it's hard to come back, because we're sitting in nice leather chairs in, Memphis and at Graceland, and all of that feels good right now, but it's also, it can be, I don't know, disheartening, or it can be a challenge and a struggle to kind of bring together that world, that interaction with Kasimi and her children to, all right, now I'm back and, we're eating pizza tonight kind of thing. But it's a balance, and I'm learning, but I can't forget that, because other people need to get connected to what her story and her journey will be moving forward.
Well, that's interesting too. There's a whole other conversation around the disconnect that exists in society. I mean, whether it's between us and our food, there's a massive disconnect there.
It's true.
Barely anyone knows that chocolate comes from fruit. Right? Just how our food comes to be, that's a whole conversation. The disconnect between poverty and what that really looks like. And the fact that even people who are homeless in North America are still in the top 1% of the world in a lot of cases when it comes to income. Which is mind-boggling to think that that's even possible. But when 2/3 of the world lives on less than $5 a day,
Yeah,
I
it's
think was the
less than
sound of
that.
it.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible to think about, and to think about how many kids could have been fed
Yeah.
with the cost of this chair.
Yeah.
You know, like it's
And we can't live in guilt
No.
from that, but we need to be aware so we can make changes or start things that need to be started so we can have an impact. Because we do, as human beings, I'm a full believer in we've got to be engaged in our community where we live. But at the same time, we do have to have a bigger vision than that too, because we are global humans. We're not just in our own neighborhood. So
not anymore.
not anymore,
Yeah.
especially now. Yeah.
So in terms of action steps, what can people do to get involved? And then what are some very specific things that you're thinking about doing in Grasshopper that someone else could implement, whether it is with Job Voice or whether it is with another organization, something to give their people more purpose?
Yeah, I think, of course, leading from the front is important. Being a mission-driven organization is really important because it helps bring that purpose and passion back to who you are and why you do what you do. So I'm excited to challenge my team with some of this when I get back for sure. Adding that line item to the service site and invoices to just bring that awareness piece to the community and leave behind and give them the opportunity to match our donation. That is something we're really excited about. And I challenge many of the home service contractors in our industry to think about that and connect with Nathan. Childvoice.org is the website where you can find that, and you can learn about what they're doing and why they do what they do and who they're supporting, and really there's stories that you can follow on there as well of some of the children and the programs that they do, and it's incredible. So I think that the opportunities are uncapped, and as Nathan said, it's not about the investment so much as it is really forming those partnerships and starting the conversations in the trades in the United States on how we can work together and partner with this.
Yeah, and I would say too, we're not a huge organization. We're working in 4 different regions in 2 countries right now, serving 5 or 6 different people groups that are coming into those refugee settlements and that kind of thing. We are looking to get started in Ukraine this year, which we're excited about. Needless to say, when you think about kids affected by war, that number is 30 million minimum around the world. And the number of active conflict areas around the world is bigger than I think we even can understand. And starting in Africa, it's everywhere. And so, I think to Amanda's point, what I love because we're smaller is we can be more creative. We're not a UN organization or World Vision or these big behemoth organizations that it's like moving the Titanic in a creek. So for us, we can be, I think more creative in ways to. There's not a lot of other organizations like us that do humanitarian work and global work that would be at a conference like this.
Yep.
But it was because we had a conversation, we have a relationship that we can say, all right, this could be something, and let's go with it. And to her credit and her team's credit, they put their money where their mouth is. We have a new booth. I got here. They made it happen because they see a vision beyond just, it'd be nice. It's nice to get a check, but at the same time, this is much more powerful, I think, long-term, because we can connect with so many different people. So to her credit and others like her, to have that kind of vision is what we're about. And we have the ability to kind of slide into those relationships in a way that can be creative and unique compared to some of the more traditional models of especially in our world, the global humanitarian kind of just give money and hope it gets to where it needs to go.
Love it.
So.
Well, and fascinating to think that for as little as $300 a month, you're able to sponsor a day's worth of education for a child that's been impacted by this.
Yeah.
And when it comes to roundups and things like that,
Yeah.
It's really easy to match that and hit that number.
Yep.
And it makes people be proud to be part of your organization, right? That is a global impact that truly is changing lives.
Yeah.
Yes, we partner with Boys and Girls Club and Girls Inc., and those things are incredible locally. But being able to tangibly see and partner with that life change is a whole different level. So
Yep.
very excited about this.
And we'll have to get some good video footage, or maybe you can join us when Amanda gets to travel to Africa with us.
I would love that.
I can't wait. It's been on my bucket list since I met Nathan.
There we go.
I've just been scared, but I'm all right.
Look what you do for a living. How can you be scared of that? Come on.
By the way, thank you so much for aging Nathan. You
Yes.
said that he was your pastor.
Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate that.
If it means anything, he looks the same as he did then.
Oh, there you go.
A little,
You haven't aged
little more
today.
gray. A little more gray.
He
Yeah.
hasn't aged today.
Yeah. Well,
Amazing.
I'll tell my wife that.
Once again, the website.
Childvoice.org.
Great. And what are the different types of donations that people can make? Is there like a reoccurring thing?
Yeah, so we certainly can do a monthly recurring donation at any level. And we have, I think it's 10, 50, 100, all the way up. But you can choose your whatever's most comfortable for you as well. So our goal is not as much the amount. I mean, obviously, it'd be nice if someone just writes us $1 million check tomorrow. But at the end of the day, that's just one person giving, rather than an army of 200 that are giving equal to that. That's a better option for us. So, you can log on, sign up, and then you'll get communications from us and hear regular stories about where those investments are changing lives.
I love it.
Yeah, I love when I get the newsletters too. Just incredible. And thank you for having us on and being able to
Yep.
talk about this.
Yep,
You're welcome.
Means a lot.
definitely.
No worries.
Very grateful.
And I think this was episode 200.
Sweet.
So thank you so much for giving purpose back to the podcast as well.
Absolutely.
Being a big episode and a milestone for us to hit.
That's good
So I
stuff.
appreciate that.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
And being able to talk about something that's incredibly important.
Awesome.
So thank you so
Awesome.
much for that.
Cool.
Thank you.
Until next time, cheers.
Well, that's a wrap on another episode of HVAC Success Secrets Revealed. Before you go, two quick things. First off, join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/HVAC Revealed. The other thing, if you took one tiny bit of information out of this show, no matter how big, no matter how small, all we ask is for you to introduce this to one person in your contacts list. That's it. That's all. One person. So they too can unleash the ultimate HVAC business. Until next time, cheers.